I had to literally say it out loud. The only common thing between all of them that they are men. There is nothing else. It's not about the skills. And I saw like the best thing ever, like a production campaign with Real Madrid. And I started like literally the new year in a new place, in a new country, in a new job, knowing no one.
Hi, you're listening to Everything is Personal by Fortis. I'm Victoria Belousova, Chief HR Officer at Fortis. Here I talk to successful professionals from tech companies. I want to find out what it did to build a career in Dubai. And I want to find out at what point everything went right. From game-changing decisions to lucky breaks, we uncover what made it all work. This podcast is proudly presented by Fortis, a company that bridged the gap between businesses and their digital-savvy customers. Welcome to the podcast where everything gets personal. Today's guest is Vivian Hermina, brand and social media manager. Once she went to her birthday party from Egypt in the UAE and got an offer in 2 days without even preparation. How was it and why it can be a good strategy? Let's find out. Hi, Vivian.
Hi, Vika. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm great. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Let's start.
Yeah, for sure.
Please tell us about your family, about your childhood.
So I was born in Egypt, in Alexandria. My family was very different from me, I would say. I was like the introvert. Also, I was the last in my siblings. I wasn't planned. I just made an appearance. So I would say like a typical nerd, a typical introvert, just reading. But yeah, I guess this is like kind of made a lot of difference in my life. And I guess now I'm more comfortable with this person. I'm more comfortable. Back then, I thought there was a problem why I'm always silent. So yeah.
It's interesting because, sometimes unexpectedly I find out that some persons that are working in marketing or in PR or in HR are introverts. So I think that it's possible to manage it. Yeah.
A lot of people actually, like I worked with in agencies, even when it's more chaotic, are introverts. And I guess we know or forced to mask it a little bit. And I remember like some days we just like a full day of interactions, which is very exhausting for an introvert. But this is like the reason we sleep early, for example. Like we collapse immediately once we're home. But I kind of feel like in marketing specifically, introverts, I would say, are more majority if they are not in PR or like in something with communication. But yeah, to be creative and to be like, in your own head with a vision, I guess you have to be quiet and like observe more than actually speaking.
It's a good skill, to tell the truth, because when you observe, you have the opportunity to think and then to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What did you dream about in your childhood? What did you want to do in your life? Let's talk about this part of your life.
I guess when I was like a kid, every other day or every other month, I had like, I want to be something different when I grow up. Suddenly I thought like I can draw. Okay, I'm going to be an artist. And then later, okay, I might be like a teacher because I loved history. So yeah, okay, I will teach people history and all of this. But it kind of doesn't make sense because I'm not really talkative. I guess I made my decision at that time that, yeah, I definitely love like history. I love monuments. I love all of this. And I want to be a tour guide. Well, I want to tour everywhere. I want to travel. I want to do all of that. And yeah, that was my major. Like this is what I studied. And it was kind of unpredictable because, again, it doesn't fit the personality. That the quiet personality and all of this all over the years. So I remember even my family was very surprised by this decision. And I loved it. Like I remember those 4 years, studying was too easy, I would say, because for me it was like a hobby.
Yeah, it's interesting. By the way, I've been working in tourism for more than 6 years, but I worked...
No way.
Yeah.
You basically lived my dream.
Vivian, how did you start doing social media things after learning history at your university?
Yeah, in uni, I was like part of a lot of civil work projects. And for some reason, I started learning a little bit about media. So I became more active. And then the beginning of like social, I would say. At that time, it was Facebook and Twitter. We had like in Egypt, like a revolution time. And at that time, Twitter and social media was very, very active because it was like mainly that generation was talking about everything. And at that time, I got like, I wouldn't say popular, so you wouldn't think it's an influencer, but I got like some volume with like whatever I was writing or anything. So I remember like a friend was working in a media agency, like a marketing consultancy, and they started like this thing with social. And I went there as a paid internship as a marketing specialist. And yeah, I started learning it and like I started learning it online. And for some reason, I felt like, oh, this is so interesting. I can mix a lot of things together. Like, I like writing, I like, media, I like all of that. And I like social media as a user. So why not actually like continue doing this?
How many followers you had?
At that time, it was crazy that I had 3,000 on Twitter.
Oh, really?
That was like, wow, what is this? Like, how? Especially that I'm like, at that time, like, I'm really nobody. Like, I wasn't like a journalist. I wasn't an activist. I wasn't anything. I was just literally a kid just writing.
Tell me more about it. How was your first job?
It was such a learning experience, I would say, that I did everything in marketing. I was hustling, I would say. I was like, oh, there is a client somewhere that I should never go, like not the safest neighborhood or something, but it's like a big factory for a fashion brand. And yeah, I was like, yeah, going everywhere. I want to get this deal. I want to convince him with like social media, what we can do instead of all those millions you're spending in billboards or whatever. Like, how about social that you can reach your audience? And like, explaining all of this to the generation who didn't know anything at that time about social media. I wasn't focusing much about the compensation, I would say. I know I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the degree even for it. But at that time, no one had. I feel like that was the good opportunity. There was no degree for social media. And I was working in startups. So usually you're like, one woman show. Like if you're in a startup and you have like digital marketing, so you'll be doing like paid media, you'll be doing social media, you'll be doing everything in that space, which was good, I would say. At that time, it was exhausting in terms of like I feel like always tired and all of that, and the mentorship part wasn't big. I remember like, for example, in my third or like even like, yeah, second and third jobs, I didn't have a manager. I had only like the owner of the company because they didn't know where to put me at that time. It was a role that no one knows like what they're doing, so no one can manage. But I feel like even this is my tendency. I feel like I learn more when I teach myself to force myself to do something. For example, like paid media or like writing, like copywriting, or even designing a little bit. All of that, you get forced and you want to do something good, or like you have this idea, and you get excited about it and it's gonna achieve that and that. And once you get this excitement, it's literally like it's a high. Like you want to achieve it. So you force yourself somehow, like, okay, let me try to do it myself. Let me try to learn or search how to do that. And I guess, yeah, I got into it. I was enjoying it.
It's a great experience, I think, because right now you have a very useful skill. For example, when we HR evaluate the potential of the employee or candidate, we normally evaluate the possibility to find the solution, to find the decision, to find the information in the situation of the absence of the lack of this information.
Sure.
Not all people can find the solution or can find the information, but you have this great skill that you can just manage this situation and you just can find the solution the way. It's a great skill.
Yeah. Thank you. I guess you learn it the hard way, and I feel like this is why sometimes now when I hear like someone saying, I don't know, how to do something, I get surprised a little bit. I'm not used to it. It's very hard for me to say it because I got used like, yeah, figure it out. If you don't know, figure it out.
Yeah, it's really great skill to tell the truth. What was after your first job in marketing? How did you understand that you want to leave your first company or move forward? Let's talk about this.
I felt like, okay, I'm doing what I like, but I'm not learning much. I feel like I need more guidance and I need to work with other people who are at least learning like me. It was only me in this marketing department doing social. And I switched completely to something else. It was in-house, like retail and e-commerce. And at that time, it was not just social; it was digital marketing manager. And yeah, that was that was an experience because it was again a startup, but at the same time, it's startup online. But it was like as in retail, as a brand, it was existing offline from a while. So it was like a new website, and like they need to sell all of this online. So this is when it was something challenging and exciting, new thing for me. It's e-commerce. I need to sell actually online, not just like to brand awareness or, just like, the normal social I know at that time. It was actually like proper marketing, but online. And I got to actually hire and have a team. And that was like something new for me this time, to get a graphic designer, to get someone for community manager and customer service, to have an actual team at this time, but also because it was a startup, so we were doing the process from A to Z, making the post, posting it, making the ad, updating the website content, like the name, everything, all of that, to the point when people make the order, we take the order, I go and wrap it and give it to Armix.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of working in startups for you?
I would always say I like it. Like I tended to it. I enjoyed it because I felt I'm part of it. Like my role matters. I felt like, if I'm off for a week or like not there, it will matter. So this sense made me like have more ownership and like responsibility. And like it gave me the most experience from that way. And also like learning a lot of other skills, like either technical or soft skills. You don't get to be like just the social media person sitting on your desk and doing your job and that's it. You need to talk to clients. You need to talk to partners. You need to get out of your comfort zone when you're in a startup. But if I'm in a corporate, there is like a specialist for everything. So you would feel it less pressure, but you wouldn't get to learn as much, I would say. And what I didn't like, obviously, the sense of structure and like the sense of like the sense of stability. Every day is another adventure. Like you never know like what you need to like what maybe you be in crisis mode, maybe you will be like to do a job that's not yours. Like you have to be flexible in startups. It's not an option, and sometimes it's worth it. Like that those days when you work so hard and all of this, it's worth it for you at the end, that you learn more. Like the experience in a startup is actually much bigger.
Yeah, that's true. For me, the advantage of working in a startup is experience.
Yeah.
It's a huge experience. What was next? You're in Dubai now. How did you move from Egypt? Let's talk about this part of your career. Not of your career, of your life path.
Yeah, it was, I remember this year was like life-changing in every aspect. I was a bit overwhelmed with work. I was overwhelmed with my life in general, for a lot of personal things were happening. And I quit my job and I was serving my notice at the end of 2018, I remember. And I didn't know what I want to do. I feel like I need a big change in everything. And it was my birthday coming. And I remember like the birthday gift, a trip to Dubai for like 10 days. And maybe if you go there, you will decide to stay. You will get a job or something and you will decide to stay. Maybe this is what you need. And I didn't expect it at all at this time. The only thing I did, I switched. Like I was in Dubai on LinkedIn and yeah, I traveled and I was just like a tourist for 10 days. And I remember I got a message from a digital marketing manager at that time from like a fintech in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, he was like, there is a social media role. And if you're interested for an interview or something, I'm like, yeah, cool. But I'm in Dubai. I'm only going to Abu Dhabi to visit the Louvre. So that's the only way I can like meet and do this interview. And they were cool about it. The funny part, I was like, I couldn't care less at this time. I enjoyed my day as a tourist. And then I went for the interview. I remember I had two outfits, like one for the Louvre, one for the interview. And it went very well to a point that like I didn't expect it at all. And I got like the job immediately. And yeah, they sent me the offer once I left, like when I was having lunch. And yeah, I only went back to Egypt, like finished my paperwork, packed my stuff because again, I wasn't planning to stay. I only had like vacation clothes. And yeah, like literally, yeah, wrapped my whole life and moved. I remember in the 2nd of Jan, 2019, right after New Year's, like everyone was off on the 1st. And I started like literally the new year in a new place, in a new country, in a new job, knowing no one.
No, so it was the second day of the new year, right? The 2nd of January. So you literally started your life from the very beginning of the year. I mean, like a new page. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was excited about this because it was like something I was craving, I would say. Like, yeah, literally like how you say, let me restart. Like, I'm not happy. I'm not like, yeah, I'm a bit lost. Let me restart everything.
You're a brave woman. Yeah. What feelings did you have moving to a new country so quickly without planning it? Without proper clothes?
I don't know. I was like scared, I remember, but obviously I was excited. When I remember at this time, like I'm very surprised too of myself at this time because I was trying to adapt. I was trying with everything. It was too much changes, I would say. And I guess the worst part that I didn't have any support system. Like I didn't have friends or family or anything that I can like, okay, after a day of work of like a lot of new things, a lot of new people, I need to talk to or like tell them. But I was like, I remember like I was living a virtual life, talking to my friends and family on the phone, like every night to cope with that, which was kind of hard to go on for so long without a social life, I would say. Though I was so used to this in Egypt. And Egypt, it's a bit different than Dubai, that you go out every day. You finish work, you meet friends, you go out, not just in the weekend. It's like, this is the life. No one sleeps early. The cities and everything stays awake till the morning. So you always have a social life. You only go home to sleep. So I went from extreme to another extreme. To never go home, to only go home to sleep, to literally the opposite. I go to my work every day, I go to the gym, and I'm staying home. And then I'm like, okay, what shall I do with myself?
Your first work in UAE was in Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get your job in Dubai? Because right now you're in Dubai, as you told me.
I was like happy with the job at that time in Abu Dhabi, but I felt like I couldn't find other people or like communities to join or like to do any activities, maybe because I didn't know anyone. Now I realized there was actual places I could have gone to. And I thought maybe I should go back to what I'm used to, like an agency, because most of my life I made friends through colleagues. So I started looking for a job in Dubai, but specifically in agencies. I was very focused in agencies. And I remember I got like a really cool ad on Instagram. Do you like Spotify? Something like that. And you're a nerd? Okay, apply. I remember it was such like an abrupt ad. It wasn't usually like, yeah, we're hiring. It was very different. And I applied because I liked it. And I remember I even like left a note and like I was excited about it. And yeah, I got like a job interview. I couldn't take any time off because I was in probation to even come to Dubai to make the interview. So I told them I can only do the weekends. And virtual like meetings and all of this wasn't a thing at that time. So yeah, I came on Sunday and they actually came to the office on Sunday to meet me.
Oh,
It was
really?
only, yeah, like it was, I feel like it was like the biggest green flag I saw from their end that they were too flexible only like when I requested that and they were keen on it and they know. So they came for this 1 hour to the office to meet me. And it was such a nice interview, very chill. It was more about like actually my interest, not just my experience or something, but what I actually like. I remember this very well. I was talking also about things I like football or like photography, or like, you know, I wasn't just talking about my experience and it wasn't that serious. And yeah, they sent me a task for like, you know, create like a campaign, like a creative idea. And yeah, I did it. And then I got like the job offer. And yeah, I moved
And this time, have you prepared for the interview?
for Dubai interview.
For Dubai, yeah.
I didn't prepare for it well, I would say. I came to see a friend of mine and it was his birthday and I was like staying with them.
How do you think what helps you to get the offer without preparing for the interview? Maybe you have like, you know, some secret hints.
I remember I only opened their website and checking their work and I saw like the best thing ever. I saw their campaign, a production campaign with Real Madrid, with Emirates. And I'm like the biggest fan of Real Madrid. And I was so hyped, I guess, because of this. And I remember like that was like the main thing I spoke about. You know, I liked what you did with that and that and that. Like I felt like I was just chit-chatting about my career and like what I like and what they like and what they are looking for. But yeah, I was surprised also when I got the offer and everything. But I guess the good thing about like having a task with agencies and everything that they get to see a piece of your work or like a piece of your vision, I would say.
You know, you told that the recruiters came on Sunday just to meet with you. Yeah, I think that they're like pretty flexible and yeah, they were ready just to change their schedule, etc. So how did you feel in that job?
I loved it. I guess if I can summarize my career and if I can summarize my experience, I guess it was in that place. Like I learned the most, I stayed the longest. I remember like at the beginning, it was kind of tailored based on the interests. So when I started, I said in the interview and I said multiple times, oh, that I love music, entertainment in general. My first task, it was in the weekend. I remember this, but it was live coverage for Maroon 5 concert.
Oh my
For
God.
me, that was like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so
It's my dream.
excited.
To be on his, concert. Vivian, did the fact that you are an introvert prevent you from working in a team or maybe getting a promotion?
I guess it was a bit challenging, I would say, especially when you're in a big agency and there is a lot of talents and there is different personalities. So usually my first few months or like my first year, I would say, in the place, I was getting a lot of comments that I'm very shy and silent. And I go to brainstormings, I'm like a bit worried to speak because there is always someone louder, I would say. And I noticed that with time, like it was not just me, I would say, like whoever is louder and whoever is like more extrovert would get like, I would say, better chances, better work. I feel like, yeah, it actually affects your career. I know myself, I wasn't like shy or like I used to work, you know, and lead and all of this. So how come I started doubting myself? Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe they're like everyone is better. Like here, I'm no difference. I was doubting myself really bad at this time, and it was affecting me like really bad mentally. And I had like a really good manager. She was speaking with me always because she heard my thoughts. She heard during like the small teams, but she saw like in bigger settings or anything, I wasn't, I would say, empowered enough to speak. I was a bit worried to speak. I was like feeling, oh, I might be judged, all of this. I feel like a good switch happened when COVID happened, when we all switched to work from home and everything started to be virtually. And you can like, calm yourself and you're not overstimulated from like all like the crowd and noises and a lot of things around you and the pressure of being in front of or like between a lot of people in meetings or brainstormings. And I started noticing not just me, like other people started to talk more, give more ideas. People, even myself, I was very surprised. Oh, I didn't know that they were that creative or that good. Maybe in 2020 I was working on it. It wasn't like perfect, but by 2021 I feel like I was a different person completely. Like I feel like that's the biggest switch in my personality and in my career too, because I worked on this part like to mask it, like when I should be speaking, when I should be more confident, when I should be like, to put myself in the, like mentally prepare myself that, okay, I'll be speaking for an hour now. I'll be presenting. I need to socialize. I need to do all of this. I didn't have this chance when you are in the office and you're like, competing. Who's gonna speak more? Who's gonna speak first? If someone spoke like, okay, you don't have a turn. It wasn't like that. I enjoy also like when you're in virtual meetings that you can take a turn with like raising hands and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like if all those things were like common and more like, basic in like in offices, that would have been much easier for a lot of talents to not actually leave jobs or like not to not get like to get an actual chance.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's very important just to see some like specific things about the people, about the employees, because, for example, when you give the opportunity to work from home, you just give the opportunity to unleash the energy, the potential of the
Yes,
employee or
definitely.
of the person. Yeah, and we in Fortis also give this opportunity to work on hybrid format and to choose the schedule, to choose the format. I mean, the type of work. So yeah, I think that it's very important for the healthy environment and
Yeah.
for effectiveness of the people. What happened with your career journey after COVID?
I feel like after COVID, I started to focus more on myself and my mental health and everything, not just on my career. Because this is what I've been doing, I guess, the first like 7 years or 6 years. I was focusing on work, like what I should achieve, what I should do. Everything it was about work more than anything else. And like, yeah, like, okay, I'll just like go outing, have some fun, and that's it. So I guess COVID, it was like an alarm for a lot of us to recalculate our life and like, to think about what we actually deserve and what we need. Do I want to continue doing this? Do I want to do something different? What else I like in life besides work?
You reset your goals and yeah, what was your next job?
Yeah, I guess at this time I switched by 2022. I wanted like a switch, different things. So I felt like maybe I should try and be on the like in-house on the client side and take a break from agencies or like, explore more and see what I would actually prefer. Maybe it will help me in my career and also to broaden my experience to not just be in social and like digital and content marketing, to be more like on the brand side that time. So I went to a fintech company and I was like brand and partnership manager. I really had a great manager who actually like convinced me with the job and everything in the interview process. It was a long interview process. It was my first time to go through this, but I liked her. I liked her thinking and like, you know, her experience. I feel like, okay, this is someone I'm gonna learn a lot from, and I would love to be in her team. And yeah, I did join, and it was a bit of everything, I would say, in marketing, but completely different because it was fintech and different terminology. It was just different, I would say. Like I still worked on social. Like the first thing I was doing is like the social media strategy for the brand. And then I worked on the brand strategy. And then I was working on the partnership because it was a UK bank, like digital bank, to launch in UAE. So that was like all very exciting because I get to work also with like the client part. It was a partner part for me now. And I was working with their marketing team. So I feel like I was gaining more experience in marketing in general, in the tech world, in the fintech world. I was attending events like fintech events, meeting people. Most of the team is in London. It was a UK based bank. So it was very interesting to work completely with like people who know nothing about Dubai. Like, yeah, who like, you know, like it's different life and we need to, like different time zones. We need to adapt to each other. We have like, you know, this like, gap, and we only have those time slots that we work together. And even people are part of our team.
Interesting. What was the difference between the mindset? Because, different cultures, different traditions, let's say, religion. Did you just see any differences, or was it hard for you?
Yeah, there was like some point, like the culture difference was big even in discussions, in decisions. The culture cues, I would say, even with partners, like even business wise. For example, here you need to have an actual connection and an actual like rapport and like, an actual relationship with your partner or like the client you're working with. It's not that practical only. And this is what I'm used to. Like, I need to be very friendly. I need to be like, get used to them. But I noticed it was different when I was working with the London team, and they are working with like other UE team, not just us. That they were like very practical, very pragmatic, I would say. And we needed to discuss those things. Like, guys, we need to chill a little bit. They need to feel like we're friends. We need, like, it was kind of this discussions. Like, there is a reason why the marketing team and everything is here in Dubai because of this culture cues.
Okay, so I'm asking because in our company, there are a lot of different nationalities, completely different. We have people from different countries, different religion and traditions, and etc. And for me, it's very interesting because, for example, we have in HR strategy the task that we're trying to build the corporate culture in our company where everyone can feel that he's unique, but at the same time, he's the part of the team. He's a part of this family, of our company, of our goals. And for example, in Fortis, we study the traditions. And for example, we organize webinars about the culture in UAE, about religion, about the Islamic bank, about the traditions, and etc. Also, we organize some events or we celebrate some different holidays. And we explain what this holiday means for everyone. So we just mix the cultures and trying to be closer to each other. For example, during Ramadan, one of our colleagues, Maha, she invited all our team for iftar. So we shared this very important evening, very important event, and we at the same time could just see how Muslim people just spend this time. So it was very interesting. And after this event, we became more close to each other because we just shared the traditions, and we
Yes.
shared the knowledges and the experience. Maha and the girls, they explained everything, how to eat this food or how to drink, what to drink, and etc. So it was, very warm event. So
Yeah, that's very wholesome.
yeah, very awesome. It was very, very nice. So that's
Yeah.
why, I was asking you about the differences between the mindset about the culture, because for
Exactly.
me it's very interesting. So Vivian, what do you find interesting about working in fintech?
For me, is like actually learning the whole industry. Like it wasn't just marketing a brand in terms of entertainment or retail, or like you're not just selling a product. It's a concept. Like you're selling a whole concept. You care a lot, I would say, in fintech about like the user experience, not just like, like getting them, like how to keep them. I feel like that's the biggest difference, I guess, from anything else. I was always focused, okay, how we can like get more tickets, or how we can get more customers, or like anything like this. But now it became like, yeah, how can I raise the revenue, like from actual users, how to make their experience better, how to work with the research team to make surveys and like, reports, or what they like and what they don't. It's more, I feel like, more into the customer, and more into like the long-term journey, not just like, okay, let's sell.
Vivian, did you have any mentors on your journey?
I remember in the agency in Dubai, I worked with a manager for like, more than a year. And I feel like no matter how much experience I had before that, I feel like it all started at this moment when I was working with her. I was scared from her.
Oh,
Like,
really? Why?
I was scared because I was, I guess, intimidated from like, I always see her like, on a pedestal. I wasn't working with her before, and I see how good she is. And it's very impressive, but also very intimidating, that I feel, oh, I can't. And then when I was working with her, like, it was like the best thing ever happened to me, I would say. I was learning a lot from all aspects. I remember like at the beginning, she was like trying to empower me, and she wasn't giving me much feedback. And I know, like I saw her working, and I know she's a perfectionist. Like definitely my work is not perfect. So no, like give me feedback. And I enjoyed her process in this, like, the way she never like changed it and moved on. She was always giving me feedback and discuss it with me. What would you do? And like, what do you think? This is not gonna work, and all of this. So I feel like, yeah, like I learned a lot from her. And I was devastated. I remember when she left the company at this time, because she left also the country. And I was very devastated, because I was like, we had like a big bond because we started working together too during COVID. And we became like really close friends after this, because it was really a bonding experience. And till now, I always, when I work with a manager or like work with anyone, and I remember her work ethics, or I remember her way of doing something, or if I did something that she taught me, I always remember her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're lucky. Yeah, it's very important to have this model role for our future career path and sometimes for our life.
Yeah.
Have you faced any ageism or sexism during your career so far?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did. And I feel like maybe even the way I look, or the way I feel like I get perceived sometimes. So there is like this kind of things that I faced in some jobs, even that I didn't get because of this. Some jobs I always wanted to do, and I feel like I never got the chance to actually even start it, just because it was, I would say, dominated more by male and men. And I remember I spoke up during like the agency time about this. For example, the strategy team. I love strategy, and this is the thing I wanted to like be better at and like to do it on the long term. But I remember like what made me speak up at this point, it was a full team. Like the percentage wasn't fair. We had like a big team of like 40 people, and the majority was women in social and client servicing and everything. And we had like the minority men, and all the minority, like the four of them, they were like, when they created a strategy team, all the minority, all the four men were on it. So I remember like it was like kind of like sad to see. And it wasn't just me like who wanted part of this and who wanted to, like to speak about this or like to be part of this team or to get the chance to even work on strategy and pitches and all of that. And it was kind of, there's a bit of a box, I would say, in the like advertising and like in marketing industry. Like women are better at presentation. Women are better at client servicing. Women are better at communication because of emotional intelligence. So let's keep them in this. But in strategy or something more thoughtful, and like it's more like, I would say, leadership. Let's keep more men on it because they're not gonna like be very effective if they are like on client servicing. And I feel like this is the thing I didn't like the most about agencies and about like the industry, because again, I mentioned literally the first thing I mentioned, I'm an introvert. So the client servicing part, I forced on myself. I taught myself this, but it's not something I prefer or like comfortable with. What I feel like I can work better on, strategy and planning and all of this, because I get to work on it on my own and, like have more focus and less, I would say, less distractions. But this like challenges is very how to speak about this and like how to, I had to literally say it out loud. The only common thing between all of them that they are men. There is nothing else. It's not about the skills. Like it's very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when I left.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Vivian, do you remember the moment in your career journey when you felt proud?
It's usually good to see like a campaign works, but I feel like when I wasn't in the agency specifically, when we got twice, like it was my accounts once in 2019 and once again in 2021, like an award from the client, like a best supplier award. And I feel like I was so proud. It was my first year in the agency and first year in UAE, and it was Coca-Cola Arena. And I remember that I loved working on this account so much, and I loved the team I was working with. And we got this award. It was the first time a client giving the agency an award, and that was the first time I got it. I was so proud, but I thought, because at that time I was like, an executive. I wasn't that senior. So I thought, okay, I joined, I was part of this. But later, like it was Dubai Holding Real Estate, and we got the same award, and it was like I was leading on this account, and like for two like different brands. And I was very proud because I felt like, okay, now maybe I'm doing something right.
Great. So, Vivian, thank you for joining this podcast. It was very interesting to spend this time with you and to know your career path.
Oh, thank you so much, Victoria. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I'm very happy to be here. And the conversation with you was very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Keep in touch.
Bye.
I will follow your LinkedIn.
Yes, please. I will follow you.
Okay. Thank you, Vivian. It was Everything is Personal by Fortis. We help businesses thrive in the digital world, turning their dreams into reality. Fortis commits to supporting and involving alongside entrepreneurship in the MENA region. Interested in joining our team? Subscribe to our LinkedIn page at Fortis. The link is in the episode description. This podcast is produced by Hedgehog Podcast. Executive producer Alexandra Volkova. Producer Darya Sannikova. Editor Livia Stivo. Sound engineer Mikhail Vasilyev. Composer Ksenia Kazantseva. Cover illustrator Brian Sun. And I'm your host, Victoria Belousova. Fortis has one more podcast, Crossing the Desert. In that podcast, we follow the story of an entrepreneur who is building his business. In each episode, he interviews entrepreneurs who have already succeeded in Dubai and tries to succeed himself. This is a real story that is happening right now, and we ourselves don't know how it will end. And if you want to follow it with us, the link is in the episode description too.